What's up, everybody, and welcome into the H&M Trucking Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Marcus, and I want to thank everybody for click and download on this episode 37, as far as the numbers go. We're just piling them on at this point. Hope you enjoyed our very special episode of Trucking Up History last week. And also, just a big shout out to everybody that helped me make that Thanksgiving episode the week before. All the employees there at H&M that came on to say their thanks and give their thanks. That was really cool. I get into this lovey-dovey type headspace when it comes to the holiday season. So big thanks to everybody there. Don't forget, as always, we'll get the homework out of the way. Click subscribe. Share the podcast with your friends. Talk to us on all those social media posts you see. They share a big goofy picture of my face with whatever topic we're talking about and the episode number almost every single week on the H&M Trucking Facebook page. If you want to talk to me about anything, maybe you got an issue that you want to raise, go ahead and put it down there in the comments, or talk to Eve about it. Talk to any other employee there that you might be talking to, maybe your driver manager, your dispatcher, anybody like that. They will get the info to me. And that's actually very important today because we have a really special episode today that's special in a different way. We're not getting sentimental, we're not getting lovey, and we're not talking about the history of this great nation. Today, we're going to talk about some of the issues that drivers face in the trucking industry. And you're probably sitting there thinking, well, yeah, Marcus, you just went through the ATRI's top 10 issues that are facing the trucking industry like a few weeks ago. We've heard it. You're right. You've heard me talk about it. You've heard me address it with a couple of people. Today, I am going to do something completely different that we have never done on this podcast before. I'm going to have two drivers come on, and I'm going to let them kind of go back and forth with me sort of, moderating the conversation a little bit. And we are going to talk about an issue plaguing the transportation industry that I hear from all corners, okay? Whether I'm browsing Reddit, I'm looking on Facebook, I'm checking out, transport topics and freight waves and news sites like that. It's parking. Parking is a giant issue, and I've got Joe Bargonetti and Tom Woods coming on the show a little bit later to have kind of a roundtable discussion with me about it. And I'm really excited about it because we haven't done something in this format before. And I think that if this one goes well, you're probably going to see a lot more of it because I want something that you drivers can sink your teeth into. And I'll make a joke here that you won't understand until later. I'm not talking about little pinky-sized sausages at Denny's, okay? I want meat on the bone, and I feel like having two guys on that are experienced drivers talk about this issue, among some others, is going to be really good for this podcast. So strap in, buckle up, 5-point harness, whatever you've got. Thump the tires, get your pre-check out of the way. We are changing things up today on the podcast, and I'm very excited about it, and I'm very excited to have you along for the ride.
From Omaha, Nebraska, to whatever lane you're driving, this is the H&M Trucking Podcast with your host, Marcus Bridges.
But before we go on this ride, I've got something that I want to play you here. And you may have heard it before because from my understanding, it's been around for a while, but I just heard it for the first time the other day. And I'm sorry, I don't normally like to sniff like that in the microphone, but have you guys ever had like one of those sinus things going on where like every time I breathe in, it sounds like there's a distant train horn way in the back of my head. It's like a whistling, but I can't get it to go away. I've stuck everything up my nose today that is shorter than like 5-6 inches long because I'm afraid I'm going to stab myself in the brain. I'm sorry if I get a little bit weird and sniffly on this podcast. I don't think I'm getting sick, but I am getting very sick of hearing a train whistle in the back of my head. It feels like I'm going crazy. Anyway, this is a voicemail that was apparently left from a driver to a dispatcher or like a driver manager. Now, like I said, some of you guys may have heard this before. I don't know if it's real or not. This seems pretty outrageous to me, but at the same time, if this is real, give this trucker a career in play-by-play. I don't care what sport. If this guy did the play-by-play in that new UFC sport where they just slap the shit out of each other, oh my God, it would be perfect. Take a listen.
Hey, Mark. I'm on my way, 3768. Kind of got hung up. It's raining out here. I'm on my way into Dallas. Jerry's probably going to be calling you to find out where I'm at if you can't get a hold of me, I'm sure. So thought, whoa. Then he got a wreck right in front of me. The guy ran a red light and hit four old ladies in an Impala. Just kind of clipped them and turned them around right in front of me, man. That was close. Oh, now this guy's getting out of his car. He's got a white shirt on with a China cigarette hanging out of his mouth. He's throwing his hands up in the air like it was their fault. Oh, hold on. She's going over their window. She's rolling down the window. Oh, man, I think she sprayed him with pepper spray, man. He's on his face, he's on his knee. She's actually beating on an umbrella. The other women are getting out too. There's one woman with a little black person. She's tomahawking him, man. She looks like a Sunbelt 20 horsepower jackhammer. We got another woman that's she's hitting him like he's got a cattle prod, man. She's got an umbrella. She's sticking it inside. Well, there's another one it's a little woman who looks like Mother Goose. She made him. She got the huge big bag. His huge is about the size of her. She's about 4 foot nothing. She hit him over the head. Everything went all over the place. Her Bible fell. She just hit him in the head with a Bible. She picked this Bible up and she lifted it way over her head. It was a hardback NBI version. This still beats the hell out of this guy. She picked his Bible up and raised it up above her head and just beating the guy. This guy's not getting up. They're still hitting him. The one with the little black person still beating him. Okay, he's up on the car. The little woman just beating him again with that big bag. He's running to his car. He's out of here. Nobody, Mother Goose woman. She's stuck into him and he's right up. I wish you would have been here, man. This is too good. I don't know.
Well, there you have it. Like I said, if that guy was faking that, give him an Oscar. It's very hard to fake that type of laughter. And that just makes me smile, that whole clip. He used the term, she's beating the hell out of him, very literally with a Bible. Like, listen, if you piss off 4 old ladies enough to get the hell beat out of you with the word of the Lord, I got to say, maybe you should just lighten up a little bit and smile. What a great clip that is. If you guys know of stuff like that, you can always send it to me if you want to hear it on the podcast. Because now that I know that's out there, I'm going to be looking for a lot more stuff very similar to it. Because why not play it? We all need a good laugh on the podcast each time we're listening. So look forward to more stuff like that coming up in the future. For now, let's get to our interview.
Knowledge and stories from coast to coast. This is your driver profile.
Very excited about this next segment here on the H&M Trucking podcast. It's the first time I've ever had 2 drivers on at the same time. And not only that, but 2 drivers that are rolling down the road as we speak. Now, we're doing this all safe. They've got their headsets on. Everybody's got safety in mind first. I promise you that. So let's introduce our drivers here real quick. I've got Joe Bargonetti from H&M Trucking on the line. Joe, welcome back.
Thank you.
And I've also got Tom Woods from H&M Trucking. You guys have heard Tom and Joe on here both before. Tom, I appreciate the time. Thanks for being here, bud.
Thank you, sir.
Now, I really wanted to get you guys on here to just have a discussion. And really, I could sit here and talk to you both for hours on end about absolutely nothing at all. But rather than do that, I've decided to focus the conversation a little bit today. In my travels and just, I read a lot of stuff online. I'm constantly on news websites for the transportation industry. I'm always scrolling Reddit and all these Facebook groups and everything. And there's one issue that comes up on the ATRI's top 10 trucking issues for 2023 that is constantly chatted about on all these forums and all these websites that I'm constantly on. I called you guys both the other day and just posed a quick question to you both. Hey, what do you think about the parking issue that you face? And you guys both had a lot to say about it. I want to start off with you, Tom. Tell me a little bit about the parking issue that you guys face out there every single day.
All right. So right off the bat, you have to literally plan your day for two things: eating and parking. Third one is showers. So parking is really hard. So you got to start planning around 1:30 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon in every area. On the East Coast, Central, and on the Pacific Coast and Mountain Time and all that. Everything is around 1:30 to 2 o'clock every day. And that only gets you about 9.5 hours of drive time, where you got to throw away about 2.5 hours of drive time just to get your parking. Because if you don't, you're going to be sitting on that on-ramp, which is a no-no through H&M Trucking. We don't do that. But they are big enough parking out here, like in Arkansas over there on 40 outside of West Memphis. They just spent a bunch of money putting a new parking spot in there for truckers. I know they're throwing a lot of new truck stops up around the nation and also making the other truck stops that's already been here, making their parking lots bigger. But like I said, you got to start doing your time around 1:30 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon just to get you a good parking spot, or you will be sitting it out there where you don't want to be.
Right, parked in some place that's not safe. Joe, what do you think there?
Well, you can start early to get selective parking by 3 o'clock in most states. What's happening with a lot of the truck stops now, like the TA and the pilots and Flying J, they're trying to make all the drivers pay for all their parking. But see, there's a lot of companies that do pay for their drivers to park so they can run them the way they want to run them. So the companies are seeing this, and they're trying to make all the parking places pay. You go in a lot of TAs, and sometimes they put 10, 12 places that are not having that you don't have to pay, that are not reserved. It's just there's too many trucks. There's not too many. That's what the industry wants, but parking's very small.
It's probably what the industry needs too is that many trucks, because it seems like every single year we're just hauling more and more freight, even though we might have little hiccups in the market and things might not be the best as far as the pay that everybody's making or the hours that they actually get to drive. But it seems like to support the industry, we need all the trucks that are on the road right now. So my question to you guys, and Joe, I'll start with you on this one, is there any easier solve than just adding more truck stops, adding more rest areas? Is there something that you see being boots on the ground out there every single day that could maybe solve this problem, or at least approach solving this problem?
No, there's really not. Nothing's done. The government just allocated $18 million to put in truck parking out west to make it bigger and make places. But you got to pay for it. I mean, your company's got to pay for it for your trucks to park there. So that's not a solution. So everybody sees that there's a lot of money in this business. Everybody's got their hand in it. And they know to move the freight, when you have it, that they can make you spend money to get to do what you need to do. Mm-hmm. The prices for materials, food, and everything at truck stops is 3 times what it is in the store.
That's actually what I heard. Tom, you told me while we were on the phone setting up this call about a little experience you had at a restaurant here quite recently, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Going in there and Ogden, Utah, the Denny's at the Flying J. Flying J it's not as clean as it used to be over there at Ogden. because they got a lot of homeless people in and out of there. But they tried it really good. But the Denny's, I went in there, and I'm not even joking. My sausage link was the size of my pinky, which is, that's pretty damn small. The bacon was literally 2 inches long. My eggs come out the size of a quarter, and then my toast everything was cold. And she said, "Oh, we gave you double hash browns." Well, that's a potato that costs literally 10 cents. You know what I mean? So that's just a joke, and the food is not good. And, it's just like Joe said, double charging. That plate would have cost me $18 when literally it only cost about $2.50 to produce. And, and talking about parking, I'm going to throw this out there because I'm pretty smart at remembering parking spots. If you're in Atlanta, Georgia, you're going to pay, no joke, unless you go in the store and spend $25, it is going to cost you $20 a night to stay at the Petro in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yep.
And then if you're coming back west, you're going to pay anywhere from $15 to $18, and then sometimes anywhere from $10 to $15. Just depends on where you're at and who you're staying at. Now you still got those mom and pops truck stops out there that want you to come stay at their truck stops because they know you're going to get up the next morning, come get their coffee, pay for their coffee. They know you're going to come in there and eat out of their little breakfast deal they got. And those mom and pops restaurants or gas stations or fuel stops are the best places to get something to eat because they didn't jump the price of them up, double the price on something just to try to make a quick profit.
For sure.
Yeah.
And
they want volume more than they want quick profit.
Denver, Colorado, Commerce City, Colorado, which is over by Denver. I call it the same area. It is literally $20 a night to park, and 99% of their parking spots are paid parking unless you go a quarter of a mile down the road to their other lot they got, and that you can't even walk to the truck stop to take a shower. You got to find a place to park and not get booted or locked down and just to run and take a quick shower to go back down that quarter of a mile to go park. And a lot of people are parking on the side of the road over by the Texas Roadhouse and stuff. They're out of their way, away from the truck stop where they can have a restroom to use. The only truck stop I know that will not, because I've called and asked, will not charge for parking is Love's Truck Stop as we speak right now.
Yeah, Love's, they say they will never charge people to park.
Well, that's good. I mean, I've got the Love's, their press release site pulled up right here in front of me, and I'm seeing October 16th, they opened one in Arizona. October 25th, they opened another one. November 2nd, they opened one in Louisiana, one in Missouri. And November 14th, it looks like they opened another location in Georgia. So it seems to me that Love's is kind of opening more shops while some of the other properties are having shops closed down. That's what you guys have told me while we were setting up. So do you guys prefer Love's? And I guess I'll ask you first, Joe. Do you prefer Love's over the rest of them because you know that that's a place you're not going to have to pay to park? And on top of that, a follow-up to that question is, does that mean that the Love's are always just jam-packed and there's never a place to park at the Love's?
If you don't get in there at a certain time, you're not getting in. All there is to it. You're not going to get in. You don't have to make a parking place.
I said we weren't going to jump in and cut in. I just want to say one more thing about the paid parking. Joe said that the other companies are paying to park for their drivers to park, and they're allocating. What they're doing is those companies are not losing any money out of that. So what they're allocating is, so it takes 3 days to get to California from, let's say, Texas. I'm just throwing that out there. I don't know. I'm thinking it's about 3 days. So let's say 3 days. So what they're doing is the company's charging the shipper the $20 a night for us to pay. Well, H&M is not doing that I know of. Now, they will pay for parking if that's just the last resort, but they really don't want to. And it's just a costly deal. And H&M wants you to go out there and they want you to utilize your time correctly. They want you to if you have to get up earlier in the morning to get down the road to get you a parking spot that you don't have to, that's what H&M would rather for you to do, because it is it's getting to be a costly deal for trucking companies and truck drivers out here to pay to park, and you figure one driver, if he had to pay to park 4 times in a week at 20, that's $80 a week. Now you take that and you times that by, say, 300 drivers, because H&M's got 300, maybe 350. I don't know the number now. Just to say 300 drivers. So you got 300 drivers parking in a paid parking for 4 nights a week out here. Well, that adds up,
Yes, it really does. And it's interesting to me that some companies do and some companies don't, but this is another thing that we see. Like right now, freight rates aren't great. Everybody knows that. We've been talking about it for months on this podcast, and we're waiting for it to turn around. But when you add in, okay, the rates aren't great right now. It's really expensive to maintain a truck. It's really expensive to fuel a truck and keep fresh tires on it and everything like that. You're right, Tom. It's just one extra thing that probably doesn't need to go in. Do you guys think that this is kind of a greed thing from the truck stops deciding that, hey, somebody's going to pay for it, so we might as well charge for it? Or is it the truck stops saying, listen, we're so overrun that we have to put a premium on some of these, otherwise it's just not going to work?
Well, you go to truck stops right now. You go to truck stops now, and they don't nearly have enough people to work in a truck stop. They just don't. People just are not working. They can't get people to work.
Mm-hmm.
They're hiring at every truck stop. All Loves is always hiring, but they can't get enough people to work. And somebody's got to be there to clean that stuff. We drive these young drivers out here, man. They throw piss bottles everywhere and junk everywhere. They're garbage. Garbage can be in front of them. They throw it out the window. It didn't used to be like that, but I'm telling you, it's bad. Truck stops are nasty. They're getting really bad.
And you know what? Okay, I just kind of throw some numbers out there, and I'm going to tell you right now, Commerce City, Colorado, the one over there in Denver, they every parking spot is paid for that they got. I don't remember how many parking spots they had that paid, but I know it was like $3,000. $3,000 a day is what they're making. They're making. Now you saw about a money revenue. This is free. This is free money for the truck stop. This is just money that they feel, and it's dirty. It's not clean. It still smells like piss and shit. Excuse my language, but that's exactly what we got to put up with out here. They are making that TA is making $90,000 a month for it.
First of all, Tom, I don't own this truck, and I'm not going to take my hard-earned money and put out $20 to sleep for the night in my truck.
No, sir.
I mean, it's wrong.
No. I know.
And I don't want my company doing it either, because that just shows that we're never going to get an increase in living expense or in miles. We're just, the more stress the company has on it, the less we're going to get.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And parking. If we park over there where that Texas Roadhouse there is in Denver, okay? I got to throw that out. That's just a parking spot. Let's say we park there. We could wake up the next morning with our trailer tag, get all this spray paint down the side because we're cheap, Yep. We'd wake up in the morning and our outside trailer tires could be gone. Because
we already had a girl fall asleep one night and she woke up and her tanks were empty. They didn't siphon all their fuel out.
Wow.
Is that the one happening in Houston?
Yeah. Her name is Sarah. And she's got two pit bulls on her truck and they never heard it.
That's crazy. And how much? So let's talk about dollars and cents here. If she fueled up right before she went to bed, so she didn't have to do it in the morning, how much fuel are we talking here? What kind of expense?
About $600.
Oh my God! And then add the cherry on top, which is $20 that she paid for that parking space, right?
Well, I don't know if she was in paid parking or not.
Okay. So is the paid parking safer in that, right? Are you less likely to lose a tire or get fuel siphoned?
No, doesn't make any difference.
If you pay for paid parking and you want to unhook your trailer and you want to go downtown and do laundry and go get a little shopping and get your groceries, you're more than welcome to do that at some truck stops. But if you drop a trailer in California, like over in Lathrop, California, I was wanting to drop my trailer at the truck stop and pay for my reserve parking, which was $20 a night, by the way. They told me you cannot drop your trailer. This is a non-drop county. If you drop your trailer, you will be towed.
So you're screwed in that, right? I mean, you've got nothing. You can't go do laundry. You can't go get a meal someplace. It's any place that you can't walk to. I mean, your personal conveyance at that point is just in the wind. There's nothing you can do.
Absolutely.
And this is not our freight. This is y'all's freight. This is everybody else. All you people at home, all you people that work hard every day. When you go get groceries and you go to get clothes or you go to get toilet paper, stuff like that. That's on our trucks. I mean, building materials.
How about this? How about feeding your cat and your dog, or maybe your horses and your cows, and because that's what I haul. I'm a hop puller, and I'm out here and we deliver to dairies. Your milk comes from the dairy. It takes me to get the product over to the dairies so the dairies can feed their cows. And as a driver, we're getting treated like crap out here. I don't want to try to throw the subject out there, but when we go to shippers or receivers, we get treated like we're animals. They'll put us out there to take a dump in a porta potty that hasn't been cleaned out in 3 weeks.
Yep. They don't care. They laugh at us. Yeah, they're making $30,000-$40,000 a year. We're making over $100,000 a year, and they think it's funny to give us 40 jobs to go to the bathroom, man.
And is there any way to solve that problem? I mean, you guys both, and I've talked to you both multiple times now, so I'm not blowing smoke at you here when I say you guys are both very personal. You're very easy to talk to. You're very nice people. You're obviously already exuding great customer service when you're out there. If they're still treating you like that, when you guys are treating them like I know you both would treat them, and they're still being like that, are we at an impasse at this point? Is there any way to solve that problem?
Well, a lot of it came on over COVID. Over COVID, they all put 40 jobs out because they didn't want people using their bathrooms coming inside. Used to just put the paperwork in the back of the trucks and back up. Then they put the paperwork in and give us a green light and we'd leave. So there was no human contact. Mm-hmm. Well, they've continued it now that it's over, so they don't have to pay to clean the bathrooms or anything like that in these companies.
It don't cost this. I know numbers, and being a truck driver, you sit out here and you brainstorm about things and you figure up stuff, and when you stop, you're doing your 30-minute break, you're looking up how stuff costs and what it costs to put in. I used to be a millwright for my own business before I started driving a truck. And I'm going to tell you right now, it doesn't cost millions of dollars to build a restroom outside for your customers. It doesn't. You've already got a janitor that comes out and cleans your inside commodes.
If they got a janitor.
And then, like you're going in to talk to these customers. How I do it, the first thing I walk in, if I ain't never been here, first thing I say is good morning or good evening. Look, I have never been here before, so work for me. Let me know how you guys do things around here, because I don't want to piss nobody off. It's exactly how I tell them. I don't care if you're female or male. You want to know how I'm going to talk to them, and then I'm going to say, look, I don't care what that last driver said or how he was an asshole or whatever he was to you. I'm not that guy. Let's work together here. And usually it goes really good after that. But you still got those asshole people that's sitting behind a glass counter, to be honest with you. They got bulletproof. So you can't bulletproof. So you can't come through there no more. You can't talk to them. And they don't, and they will piss you off just to piss you off. So they could call your company and say, oh, he was being an asshole, and it doesn't matter. So if you're an asshole, if you're an H&M driver, and you talk to a shipper or a receiver, and they get a phone call, you lose your bonus.
You get a DDI.
Your bonus.
Yep. Called a DDI. You get a DDI. Driver disciplines and incident.
And so you can get one of those, and that won't even be your fault. That's something that the customer just...
It'll go right on your record. It'll go on your record.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So, Joe, how do you approach the situations with the customer service there? Tom just kind of walked us through how he tries to mitigate this problem. How do you go about it?
I just ask them what's going on, how you want everything done here. How would you like me to do it? How would you like me to serve you when I pull in? I've never been there before. How do you like me to do it?
And are they mostly responsive to that, or do they kind of just brush you off?
They're pretty good. Most of them are pretty good, still have the ones that aren't. You just got to shut your mouth and hold tight.
Right.
Hey, Joe.
There's nothing you can do about it.
Is this right, Joe? Them people want to be treated like they're in charge, like they're over you.
Yes.
They want to feel like they're the big dogs. You do what they tell you to do. When it really they ain't over nothing. They're just mad because you're making good money and they're not.
Well, they don't even really know how much you're making.
Well, it's just because that last driver come in there and he was an asshole to them, and they want you to talk to them like they're the ones 100% in charge and they own the business. You know.
I was in a place one time where the driver came in and tried to hand the telephone to the receiver to talk to his dispatcher because he couldn't speak English. You know?
So it sounds like the customers are dealing with a bunch of different stuff every day too. You never know what type of day the person that you're dealing with has had. I think that probably holds true across, most occupations that have customer to customer interaction. But it seems like aside from being a nice person, being cordial and trying to uphold those values of good customer service, there's not a lot you can do. It sounds like sometimes there's just some sour grapes in people's mouths, and you can't really do much about that other than just put on a smile and try to kill them with kindness.
Exactly.
How hard does that get
much.
when you have to do that day in and day out and you're getting pushback? You guys start to kind of boil up with a little bit of anger, or how do you deal with it? Tom, go ahead.
I mean, it's very frustrating. Like, every day you try to have a great attitude, and it's always that one person that just keeps nagging at you when you're going to unload or load, and they just and now you got to worry about okay, I loaded over here, now I'm gonna go and load over here. Are they gonna be an ass too? And then you just snap because you're just like, you don't have to get an attitude with me because I didn't know what to do, And it's like when you talk to them, they automatically assume that you're going to have an attitude with them.
Yeah.
Sure.
And, well, they did put a brand new TA, big parking, all kinds, really nice inside, got great food in there. They also got Wendy's over there in Mount Vernon, Missouri, over there on Interstate 44, exit 46, I believe it is, or 48. I think it's 48. Brand new truck stop. And the owner that owns it, you'll see him out there. They said since he's opened it, you'll see him out there every other day helping pump fuel in the customers' trucks. So, what you're getting is you're getting an owner that's trying to build a business, but it's only going to last until he gets tired of doing this shit. It's only going to last until he says he's done, until he's getting his, everybody knows, that customer, we can go to that TA and that guy will come out there and help pump our fuel. Or it's a nice place. That lasts about a year and a half to 2 years, and then these truck stops just kind of go down a hill a little bit, and then they'll keep them decent. You know what I mean? But they're not going to keep them like, oh wow, it's like the brand new truck stops feel 3 years from now. Loves, same way. You'll get a new Loves. It's nice for about the first year, and then you'll start seeing, go look in the bathroom stalls, in the showers, and in the corners you'll see dirt piled up where they don't clean the dirt out from the corners. You got toilet paper roll machines, dispensaries, got carvings on them. They stopped maintaining. The toilet stool lids are loose on 90% of the truck stops these days. You sit down, you're about to fall off when you got to do the number 2, and that's the truth. And is that right, Joe? I mean, am I lying, Joe?
Yeah.
So it sounds like it doesn't take very long for these things to fall into a state of disrepair. And I mean, that makes sense when you think about how many people are coming in and out of there every single day.
But again, it goes right back to having people to help work. I mean, You can't run a business all by yourself.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Some places that love in certain parts of America are really nice, beautiful places, and people are really nice. But some places in love, it's not.
Right. And it only takes one bad apple to ruin the bunch. We talk about that from time to time on this podcast too, and there's one more thing, guys, that I want to touch on here before we go, because I think that it was possible that you both mentioned this to me while we were setting this call up. And Joe, I'll start with you here. Talk to me about drivers taking their breaks at the fuel pump and blocking up your guys' ability to get in there and fuel. Is that a big problem that you see that's sort of associated with parking?
Not really. There's some people who have done it, I'm sure, but you really don't see that a lot. That's just somebody trying to tell about something.
Yeah,
you really don't see that a lot.
Just being blatant. And what about you, Tom? Is that something that you run into out there?
Now, me, Joe, don't maybe run into it, but I have seen it. I pulled up to a few truck stops, and you'll see a guy leaning over his steering wheel sleeping, and he's at the fuel pump, and he's leaning over the steering wheel sleeping. Or, matter of fact, in Montana at the TA, when I was going over there to deliver, the guy comes out. It gets out. I call in there, and I'm sitting behind him. He comes out, fills his truck up. After I done sat there for 15 minutes, come out, fills his truck up. I pull around on the side. He gets back in his truck, does something, comes out, puts his pumps up, gets back in his truck, goes back in the back. I done pulled forward to the front, went inside and did me a little bit of shot, come back out. He's inside praying in his sleeper, in the fuel hour.
Yeah.
Wow. That just comes down to just being courteous to your neighbor, I think. They wouldn't be happy if they had to sit there for 40 minutes and wait for somebody while their clock was ticking either. So it sounds like a pretty easily solvable problem there when it's just like, hey, do unto others, right?
Yeah, and you want to talk about time. Logbooks. These logbooks are a really problem for a lot of us. The government wanted it, and the only reason logbooks were designed, and I argue that I'll sit here and argue till we can argue all day long about it. But the logbooks were mainly designed for one reason and one reason only: to make sure that you didn't fall asleep at the wheel while you were driving. They just wanted to know how long you were working for. That's it. That is really no big deal. It's mainly for where you're driving from point A to point B. You shouldn't have to worry about going and logging in, I'm fixing the fuel, and then like where this is going is going to your shipper or your receivers. They know that we work on a clock. They'll put us out there, tell us to wait, and they'll call us, and we actually got maybe 8 hours on our clock to go do something. Literally takes somebody, you pull in a van, and you got pallets, it will literally take them 20 minutes. I've been there. I've done that before. A hopper. When you go to unload at a place that's got a hopper hole, they turn that machine down because they're worried about the amperage pulling on their deal and throwing breakers and all that. They turn it down so slow, it takes about 2 hours for you to unload.
Wow.
And you're the one unloading it, not the receiver, not the person who bought the stuff. And that's something else that really I don't understand. When I bring you a product, that is your product now. It's not my product. I don't mind opening the door up, but it's your job to unload it, not mine.
Joe, you got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I don't unload their loads. That's their load.
And do they keep you there for longer than what you're hoping for, or they kind of mess up your clock from time to time too? What are your thoughts on the logbook thing that Tom was talking about?
Sometimes it does because they can't find people to work either. I mean, everywhere we go, I can tell you, there's opportunity everywhere, all over the United States.
Joe, are you a hopper or a fan?
I'm a fan.
I'm a hopper.
Well, guys, and like, I don't want to cut this off because I'm really enjoying this, and I feel like we're getting a lot out there in the air, which is important. It's one of the things that this podcast is meant to do, and I know that you're out rolling and doing your job. This is not the last time that we're going to do this. This has gone way too good for me to say, oh, that was fun, let's go away from it. I want to get you guys back on here. I might have you on together again. I might have you both on with different drivers again. But I really appreciate you willing to come in here onto the podcast and be candid with me and talk about some real issues that you guys face out there. It's very important to me to understand the work you do and have a lot of respect for it. And I just can't thank you guys enough for your time.
Marcus, thank you very much.
Thank you, Marcus. I appreciate it, bud.
We love talking with you, bud.
Well, yeah, I really enjoy talking with you guys, and I know that this one, this subject makes people get a little bit hot under the collar, and I totally understand that. Maybe next time we have you guys on together, we'll talk about something a little more lighthearted, okay? Because, talking about Tom's.
Hey.
Tom's telling me he's going to spend $18 on a Grand Slam out there. I haven't spent more than $6.95 at Denny's since I was 12. So there's some bigger issues here for us to discuss. I feel like
if you're going to get something to eat at a truck stop, it's going to cost you $19 to $20, $21.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Every night,
every time.
Unreal, guys. Well, listen.
I was before I real quick, and I know you got to let us go. Before I did, years ago, I should have bought this freezer cooler beside me. Years ago. I have started eating in my truck 99% of the time now. I just got me a Subway sandwich because I want to get down here to where I'm going to unload, and I want to get unloaded. But I'm telling you right now, I have saved literally $1,500 a month not eating out.
Wow.
You're going to spend $50 a day eating out at a truck stop if you do it.
That's crazy. Well, guys,
So,
thank you again. Real quick, I'll give you both an opportunity to just kind of close it out here. Joe, is there anything else that you want to say before I let you go today, brother?
Oh, man, it's good talking to you. Good talking to you, Tom.
you too, sir.
Tom,
Be sure like put the elevator in an outhouse. Just don't care.
Tom, anything else from you before I let you go?
Man, I'm going to tell you right now, if you're looking for a good truck driving job, and y'all out there hearing this, H&M is one of the top-notch companies to come to work for. By all means, they got the best equipment, and they take care of their maintenance on it. And you can call anytime, and you can talk to the man himself, and he will answer any questions you got. If he can't give you an answer, he will get you one and get back with you. And Marcus, I appreciate you putting me on a podcast. I love this stuff. I'm ready to do it again anytime you're ready to do it.
All right. Well, one thing you forgot to mention about H&M is they also have the best podcast. And excuse me while I throw my shoulder out.
You gotta watch out for that guy Marcus. So he's a little squirrely.
All right, fellas. Well, Thank you so much. We'll do this again for sure. Tom Woods and Joe Bargonetti, you guys be safe out there. Keep the shiny side up, and I will be in touch, all right?
All right, Marcus. Take care.
Man, I'm so happy that those two were able to join us at the same time. Just so you guys know a little bit of background here, Joe and Tom did not come to me together and say, hey, we'll both be on the show. We want to talk about this. I reached out to them both individually. They had no idea who the other driver was that was going to be on. They just wanted to talk about this stuff. And I think that's really cool because getting multiple perspectives on things like this is very important. These are issues that face the trucking industry, but they don't face every single driver the exact same way. Not every person deals with everything the same way, and not every driver has to deal with each one of these issues as much as another driver might have to. So if you're interested in coming on and talking with another driver at the same time about anything, we do not have to make it about, a hard pressing issue that's affecting the entire country. We can talk about anything. Just get in touch with me and we'll get you on here for sure. After that conversation, though, I was looking through some of my research and I wanted to see both some truck stops opening and truck stops closing here as of late. And we already went over some of the ones that are opening on I-40. We also went over one out there on I-80 as well. There's also a new TA that's opening out in New Mexico. The new location is formerly Russell's Travel Center, which was acquired by TA Travel Center and transitioned to the TA brand. According to TA, the location is, quote, a popular destination spot for travelers featuring a classic car and memorabilia museum, an authentic Route 66 diner, and an expansive store with convenience offerings. Here's some of the things that this new TA, which was formerly Russell's, is going to offer. 10 diesel fueling positions, 125 truck parking spaces, 8 private showers, laundry facilities, a pet area, and dining options, including Russell's Route 66 Diner and Subway. This is the Glen Rio truck stop, and it is located at 1583 Frontage Road 4132 out there in Glen Rio, New Mexico. So definitely go check that out. Now, on the other side of things, This was released by CDL Life back on August 28th, so it's not that old. But I'll just read you here what the press release says. Pilot Company has confirmed the temporary closure of many truck stop locations within the company's network following the bankruptcy of fuel retailer Mountain Express Oil Co. Pilot recently alerted customers to the temporary closure of 19 MEX truck stops within the Pilot network due to the company filing for bankruptcy. Mountain Express Oil and its affiliates are ceasing operations due to Chapter 7 liquidating bankruptcy. As a result, 19 of MEX's dealer locations within our network are temporarily closed. Now, I think that's important. Temporarily closed. That means if they can find a new fuel supplier here, they're probably going to open these back up. But for the time being, you're not going to be able to go there. It says Pilot Company will continue serving our valued customers at our more than 800 locations across North America. Now, here's a list of some of the closures. There's 19 of them, so I'm not going to get into every one of them. But, I mean, man, these are mostly in the South and across kind of the middle, like the Midwestern part of the United States, and also a few of them out there on the East Coast. You're not getting further west than North Dakota with these closures, though. So if you're a West Coast driver, this probably isn't going to affect you that much. That said, if you're one of the guys that likes to go to the Casita, Alabama store, you're going to need to head to Noonan, Georgia. These are alternate locations that I'll give you after I tell you the store that's closing and or closed by this point. These are going to be the closest pilots, not necessarily the closest truck stops, okay? Blytheville, Arkansas, you're going to have to go over to Haiti, Missouri for the nearby location. There's 2 in Minden, Louisiana, 2 others in Haiti, Missouri, which they're saying that there must be 3 or 4 locations in Haiti, Missouri, because they're directing you to other stores in Haiti, Missouri, but 2 of them in Haiti are closing down. St. Genevieve, Missouri, Rockingham, North Carolina, Seagrove, North Carolina. Both of those closest ones going to be Candor, North Carolina. Hazleton, Pennsylvania, Cowpen, South Carolina, Birmingham, Alabama. They say there's another one close by in Birmingham. Just go to that one. Kansas City, that one is in Kansas that's closing down. Kansas City, Missouri has one just across the border, though. Yeah, as far west as you're getting is Williston, North Dakota. They say head to Minot if you can't go to if you were going to go to the one in Williston. And Grand Forks, North Dakota, there's another store in Grand Forks. So it's a pretty big chunk. I mean, it's not a big chunk when you think 800 total stores, but I would be willing to bet there's drivers out there that always are on this route by one of these stores, and maybe they go to it all the time, one of these truck stops. So hopefully you'll be able to find a better alternative if this Flying J is your game and all of a sudden it's closed because they don't have any fuel there. I don't know how many of you have ever admitted to me that Flying J is your game either, so we'll remember that. And finally here, before we close out the segment, I was over at truckertools.com, and I found a list of the top 10 truck stops of America according to truckers. Now, this was released back in February 2023, and this is according to the National Association of Truck Stop Operators. It says there's more than 2,500 truck stops in the United States. Yeah, that's from the National Association of Truck Stop Owners. I don't want to hear from them. It looks like they polled truck drivers, though, to see what the top 10 locations would be. We'll start down at the bottom. Number 10, Keystone Restaurant and Truck Stop in Loretto, Pennsylvania. I'm not going to read the descriptions of all of these. I'm going to work my way up the list a little bit before we start breaking into what these things are actually about. Little America in Little America, Wyoming comes in at number 9. Bighorn Travel Center in Fort Worth, Texas, coming in at number 8. I mean, we knew that was in Texas before I even told you where it was. It's called Bighorn Travel Center. Where else is it going to be? Flynn's Truck Stop in Shrewsbury, Massachusetts. South of the border in Hamer, South Carolina. Dysert's Restaurant and Truck Stop in Herman, Maine, coming in at number 5. The Big Apple Travel Center in Joplin, Missouri, coming in at number 4. It says here, the Big Apple Travel Center in Joplin, Missouri is located just off Interstate 44 at exit 13. Named to several best of lists as a truck stop of America, the travel center is known for its clean facilities and diverse food options. Joe and Tom were talking about food kind of being on the shitty end out there on the road. Maybe stop by Big Apple Travel Center in Joplin, Missouri, see what they've got going on. It includes a convenience store, snacks, and an authentic Indian food in its takeout cafe, Rasoy. Also, another advantage, of the travel centers is free Wi-Fi, charging stations, showers, dog parks, weigh scales, and other services. Number 3 on the list really surprised me, okay? Because it's in my home state of Oregon. And let me tell you something. I've been to a lot of truck stops here in Oregon. I'm not going to say they're all bad, but I'm also not going to say they're all good, okay? And I think more of them fall on the latter side of that equation there. But number 3 is the Jubitz Travel Center in Portland, Oregon. Located just off I-5, Jubitz Travel Center in Portland was recently ranked number 2 by drivers in FreightWaves survey and has grown from a local favorite to a nationally recognized truck stop. Jubitz Travel Center offers truckers 250 free and 18 reserve trucking spots. I love to hear that. 250 free, 18 reserve. Look, if you want to pay for it, that's just fine. There's a lot of these guys that don't, and we know that because of what we heard from Tom and Joe earlier. It looks like they've got showers and jacuzzi access. That sounds nice. Towels, weigh scales, dog wash, driver lounge, truck service center, fleet services, the Jake Brake Deli and Convenience Store. The Jubitz Marketplace, which is located next to the truck stop, includes a barbershop, a cinema, postal services, and overnight accommodations. I'm thinking I might have to stop by this Jubitz the next time I'm up in Portland because I don't think I've ever been to this one, and honestly, it sounds really nice. I could get into the jacuzzi and chill my bones, and then I could go and take my dog to the dog wash, get them all cleaned up. I love this, and then catch a movie. That's great. Kenly 95 Petro coming in at number 2 on the list. This is in Kenly, North Carolina. Now, this one has claimed the title of the largest truck stop on the East Coast. It's owned by the same folks who own and operate the Iowa 80 truck stop, hint, hint, which is maybe coming up on the list later. Like Iowa 80, Kenly 95 has been rated one of the best truck stops in America by Hale Trailer, the largest independent trailer dealership in North America. Services and amenities offered at this best truck stop of America include a barbershop, weigh scales, driver den, laundry, 15 showers, a truck showroom, a truck service center, 350 parking spots, a truck wash, and more. And finally, number 1 on the list, you guessed it, it's the Iowa 80 truck stop in Walcott, Iowa. It's been named the best truck stop in America according to several driver surveys, including those conducted by FreightWaves and Hale Trailer Brake and Wheel Incorporated. It's known as the world's largest truck stop. Iowa 80 offers truckers 900 parking spots. There you go. 20 showers, laundry, truck maintenance, truck washes, chiropractor services, you need to get a little kink worked out, dental services if you need to get a cavity filled, a movie theater, cat scales, 8 restaurants, and more. Best truck stop of America serves more than 5,000 customers daily, and I gotta hand it to Iowa 80. I've seen like a YouTube video where they go through and do all the things and try all the food and see all the sites at Iowa 80. You could spend more than a day there. No question. I could spend more than a day there. So big ups to Iowa 80. Coming in, number 1 on our list. Well, not our list. It's Trucker Tools' list of the 10 best truck stops in America, according to truckers. If you've got anything to say about that, I'd love to hear your feedback. Tell me what your favorite truck stops are. There's a lot of them out there, and I'm sure that there were some of these on this list that you guys have been to and were thinking, no way that one's in the top 10. Or hey, maybe some of these down in the bottom half of the top 10 should have challenged for the top half. I want to know what you think, so make sure to get at me. All right, load it up and strap it down. That's going to do it for episode 37 of the H&M Trucking Podcast. Huge shout out to Joe Bargonetti and Tom Woods for coming on and doing this kind of experimental thing with me today. I really enjoyed it, and I want to do it a lot more. What do you think? If you're out there listening to this podcast right now, send me an email, go to the website, go to the social media pages, go everywhere that you can go, and tell me what you think. I need some feedback here. We don't get a lot of feedback from you drivers, And sometimes I wonder if it's because you just are okay with it, but more than not, I think it's because you don't want to hurt my feelings. I can take it. I've been doing this for a long time. I used to have to take live unedited calls at an old job, and that was just basically answering the phone for people to yell at you. Now, the best part of that was being able to hang up on them, but that was live radio. It's a little bit different. I want to incorporate your guys' feedback. I want to know what you think of the podcast, and I really want to know what you want to hear more of. So if you enjoyed that conversation with Tom and Joe today, make sure and let me know, because I want to do that more. That was so cool. It was like we blinked and we were on the phone for 30 minutes. I couldn't believe how successful that was. And you know what? I'm willing to talk to any of you guys about anything. What are you dealing with out there? Do you not like the way that your seatbelt smells after you've sat in the truck for a week? It doesn't matter to me. What's your favorite meal and how do you cook it in the cab? Let's talk about that. You a gamer? How do you game in the cab? Let's talk about your setup. I want to hear from you guys. I really do. And I want to get you on here talking to one another too, trying to flush out some of these issues and figure out if there's anything that either H&M can do or that we can help do for the trucking industry at large. This is very important to me, and I have a tremendous degree of respect for you drivers. I know what you deal with out there. I've talked to enough of you to know that this can be a frustrating job from time to time, and I'm here for you. I want to talk to you about it, even if we're just chewing the fat, shooting the shit, as they say. That's fine. We don't have to always be super serious and try to solve the world's problems. As I said, what are you cooking and why do you like it and how do you do it in your cab? That sounds like a real fun one. So reach out to me, all those ways we talked about. Call your dispatcher, call Eve, shoot her a text, anything like that. She'll get it to me to make sure that we can get you on the podcast. As I said, that's it for episode 37. Thanks to all of you guys for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and share the podcast as well. Subscribing is free. All it's going to do is make sure that you know when we drop a new episode, which is every Wednesday morning at 5 a.m. Central Time. I'm your host, Marcus. I got to get out of here. I got to go find a parking spot, actually. It's getting pretty hairy in my driveway. Stay fresh, cheese bags.
Thank you for listening to the H&M Trucking Podcast. Please leave a review, subscribe, and connect with Marcus over at the H&M Trucking social media channels. And if you're considering a job at H&M, find us at hmtrucking.com. Until next time, stay safe and ahead of the curve drivers.